You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome. You are tuned into iLive Radio UK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or all the W's uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Today's topic on Black Women's Wisdom is relationship. And joining me on today's show will be Miss Mode, Miss D, and Miss B. What does the word relationship mean to you? What thoughts spring to mind? They say that the way that two people or two things are connected determines relationship. Now, we all have different experiences of relationships and how we've connected and communicated with others. So my question to you is, what does relationship mean to you? How do you feel about the word relationship? What's your interpretation of relationship? Now, when we talk about relationship or relationships, we think about family, we think about acquaintances, we talk about friendships. But the one that most people can relate to more than any other is a romantic relationship. Now, for me today, I want to touch on the romantic relationship, and I want to talk about the friendship. Those two relationships are something we all have experience in. We all have stories to tell and experiences to share. So, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's out there listening, how do you feel about the word relationships? And we're speaking about the romantic aspect of a relationship. The floor is now open.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Miss D here. I think for me, I can categorize some of the romantic relationships I've had. I've not had many. I've had two very long-term relationships. I think one was 15 years and one was 10. And I'm not that old, but I think my scenarios were pretty bad experiences. I mean, there were fun aspects. There was a lot of fun. And I'd say neither one of the relationships I regret, because one of them I got my daughter from, and the other one, it was 10 years of, I would say, complete opposite people, complete opposite lifestyles, but it worked. I don't know how to explain it. It did actually work. It might have looked from the outside that it didn't, but we were very tight, but very opposite.
So, okay, for you, you just made a comment that you're not sure whether they were good relationships or not. For you to be in them for the duration of time that you were in them, there must have been something good about them.
Exactly.
So initially going into the relationship, yes, it was all bells were ringing. obviously later down in the relationship, alarm bells started to ring, obviously. Hence the reason you're no longer with those individuals.
It's that thing called love, I think. You know, like, you see the red flags, and as women, I think we're terrible. We see the red flags, but then once the heart kicks in, you sort of think you bypass it, and that's the mistake. The red flags are there for a reason. What do you think?
Yeah, so, you know, it's easy for us to sometimes turn a blind eye to the bad things within a relationship because you're hopeful for the good things, like, you know, to keep the good things going within a relationship. And sometimes you can just kind of turn a blind eye to that. And sometimes it's also to do with fear or not accepting, being in denial, you know, not having acceptance of, you know, actually this relationship has come to an end and you don't know how to actually go about ending it or finishing it. So, yeah, that's my viewpoint.
I agree with that.
So, for me, regarding relationships, I think I've got a different mindset, and I think I got it from how my mum's relationships were, especially like with my dad and stuff like that. She kind of taught me never to show your love too hard for a man, and that's always kind of remained with me. And she told me from young and in my teens and now as an adult, I've always got that resonated in the back of my head, because I feel because most women we wear our emotions on our sleeve compared to, like, you know, some men. So it's like when we fall in love deeply. But there are some, I know for myself, I can't necessarily show that fully, and I think it's a kind of fear thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of, like, I'm with you, we're going to work with this relationship, we're going to communicate all the time, because I feel communication is key.
Yeah, definitely.
But
you hold back a bit.
I still hold back.
You're wary.
Just I think it's more of a protection for myself.
100%.
And my mental well-being.
Yeah.
But I feel some don't. They just go in.
Yeah.
And then when things happen that doesn't work out right, or the partner's done something that is unforgivable, it's hard for that person then to either cope or get through it. So then when they do pursue another relationship, because that's ended, then they can see that as a new chapter and not just think, oh, well, if this guy or this woman was bad to me, I'm naturally going to assume the next person I'm going to meet is going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, from when I think about relationships, past relationships, I have a slightly different view of things. Being married for a long duration of time, you enter into a relationship for one of many reasons. But when you get married, you don't necessarily know the person to the full intent. Even when you meet someone, you don't fully know an individual. You're attracted to an individual for a number of reasons. You know, it may be your type, the so-called saying, your type.
Or preference.
Your preference, so to speak. So for me, this thing they call type, what is it? You know, what is this thing we call type? Okay, we may be attracted to a man who is, or a woman who is of a certain stature. We might be attracted to a person because the level of communication between you. You may be attracted to a person for several other reasons. But to put yourself and say that you have a type, and I've been guilty of it. Okay,
we all are.
I can put my hands up and say I have been guilty of saying I have a type. Now,
She say that I just said that yesterday, actually.
and thinking about that, my type wasn't what I married.
What is your type then? What did it used to be then on paper? Because I know what mine was.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Right. Tall.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it wasn't about looking pretty.
No,
You
I
just
don't
need
like
to
pretty
be
men.
tall, dark, and handsome.
It's quite shallow though, isn't it?
And it's only when I got married, I had always said I would never marry a red-skinned man.
No.
And what was my husband?
Red.
A red-skinned man.
I've never looked at a red-skinned
So
man.
then I had to really look at myself and say, but hold on a second. You had a type. You married
So total opposite.
a gentleman who is not your so-called type.
So complete
He had
opposite.
qualities he
So-
must have that you
Complete
like.
opposite,
So-
yeah.
When you say you have a type, it's a load of rubbish. And I'm living proof that it is. Because I'm attracted to tall, dark, and handsome. My husband was fair and handsome.
Was he short?
No, and tall. Okay.
That's all right.
Okay, I ticked 2 of the boxes,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, to the box.
But,
Exactly.
no, but if he's got qualities, it does. You know, once you
Exactly.
meet somebody, those shallow things, they're shallow. So
Yeah.
you realise that quite quickly.
That is correct, and that's what I'm saying. When you say that you have a type,
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have types. We're attracted to things about people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
their shoes.
If they fit into that so-called type that we believe we're attracted to, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
Now you've ticked all the boxes that you in your mind have set out to have. Now, how about when it goes wrong?
But initially, how do you start a relationship? Because you see someone, whether it's at a club or library
Tesco's.
or supermarkets, wherever, you don't know what their personality is like.
Indeed.
So there is a physical attraction before
That's right.
you get into, well, this guy, you know, he's very intelligent. We can have intellectual conversations.
Yes.
It's stimulating, and we're able to pick each other's minds, and like it's just not all about the sexual thing.
That's right.
But the start is
Yeah.
always going to be the physical. You
course.
can't just say, "Oh, it's all about what's inside." How do you know what's inside them?
don't know.
Yeah,
You don't
you
know
go
them.
You're only
You don't
attracted
know them.
visually. It's only
That's
what you
right.
see that attracts
Yeah.
your
But when
eye.
they
Exactly.
open their mouth, it's the giveaway. Because for me, I've always been one for my type has always been dark, not necessarily tall. They've got to be taller than me, but dark. And I realised a couple of years ago that how bad it is because I don't even look at light skinned guys, which is sad because I used to be like so tunnel vision. If a nice light skinned guy or red skin passed me, I wouldn't even see them because in my vision, I would put you sort of as maybe a white guy, which is so bad. That's like, I realised a couple of years ago, I thought, that's kind of prejudice.
So tell me something. Why do you feel that way? Explain
The
that.
attraction.
No, the fact that you wouldn't ever look at a
bad.
fair-skinned brother.
Well, I've realised now, but before, because I've realised that I must have missed so many nice men because I never used to see them.
They all passed you by.
One time this guy passed me, it was so bad. I was in the city and, you know, I was walking and I could feel eyes on me, but I automatically thought it was a white man. And there's nothing wrong with a white guy looking at you, but I didn't even look. It wasn't until he got right next to me, passing me, that I realised I completely blanked this man. I felt so bad. When I looked, it was a black guy. And I was like, I never forget it. I looked and I was like, oh my God, he was
Wow.
black. And I didn't even see him. And do you know how rude that must have been? I mean, to be completely dismissed like that for a man is horrible.
Yeah. So when I mean, what you're saying is really making me smile for a number of reasons. And we have this perception of people. And we draw this line and we don't draw it in the sand. We literally chip out the wall
Yeah.
and say,
Yeah.
I'm not going to cross that line.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going there. And for me, we need to be a little bit more open-minded about things.
Cool. We need to be less shallow.
We need to be less
They're not
shallow.
important. They're not important.
Yeah.
Looking at someone's
We're
shoes.
looking at the wrong things.
their shoes. for
and we're
goodness
wondering
sake, you know?
why are our
It's
men
rubbish.
Their shoes.
why are our men not living up to our standards?
But do you reckon because obviously we've had relationships when we were younger, do you feel that maybe we were more or less naive, and it was something of a trend, because there was a point in the 90s where dark-skinned men wasn't getting no looking. It was all about the light skin.
Yeah.
At one,
With soft curly hair.
right?
But do you think
It was
it's the
never my
same?
thing though.
So do you think it's the same like with guys with women though? Like,
Very much
I
they
think
have
worse
their-
now.
do you
I think that's-
understand?
I think that's I
worse.
think it's been now and before.
Yeah.
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 It's worse with the men, I think. The men that's a different show, I think, to talk about. You know, I think they're wisening up now. They actually see beauty for much more than what texture your hair is and what shade of your skin is. They see us as women now of beauty of all different shades, I think, and sizes. So they're beginning to appreciate us as
I
black women.
I do feel like in order for us to be less shallow and a bit more open-minded, we do need to factor in a number of things.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to learn to love ourselves.
As
Self-love
women.
is so important.
And men.
As individuals.
As individuals, yeah.
As individuals.
Yeah,
I
for
think
real.
when you have self-love,
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Your thought process is slightly different. You know who you are, so you know what you want.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I believe we go into relationships not knowing who we are as a
Yeah.
person, and then we expect so much from that relationship when we have flaws to start with.
Do you think sometimes that you can get lost in a relationship and kind of lose yourself, like where you're just so focused on this other person
100%.
that you actually forget to
Yeah.
love yourself because you're trying so hard to like
No,
love this other?
no, not for me. Sorry. No, I don't. I've always had this thing, like, I'm probably a bit cold with men. Like, my mum used to say to me, don't love anybody more than you love yourself, even though she doesn't practice it. She says it. She doesn't practice it herself because she dotes on my dad. But with men, maybe a bit like what Miss Mode said, I feel like, I don't know if I've ever let myself truly love. I think when I got married, I'd say it took a long time, but probably it took about a year to get into that properly. And then I thought, okay, I do love you. But I didn't feel the same way he did. I just didn't feel it. And I wasn't going to pretend. So I can be quite, I
But
don't know,
don't you
cold.
think it was a different love though? Because you can love someone and you can be in love with somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Things.
did you think you was in love with him, but you didn't love him, or vice versa?
There was an attraction there. Don't ask me what it was, because I remember meeting this person and thinking, I'm never dating you, because they liked me, I didn't like them. And it took about 2 years for me to actually go out for one drink, and I wouldn't go.
So what made you change your thought process?
I felt sorry for him, I think. I felt
Okay.
sorry for him, and I thought, okay, you've been really nasty to this guy. Just go for the drink. And I went
Give him
for
a
the
chance.
drink, and I was quite rude through the whole evening. I was rude because I was like, I just kept saying, just know this is the going nowhere all through the drinks. Can you imagine it? I kept saying, this is going nowhere. I just wanted to
Is this the
remind
same
him.
person that you married?
Yes.
So this is what I was
Okay,
thinking.
because I'm so confused. I was
Someone-
like,
Yeah.
I was as well. I was just like,
Through the whole first drink, I kept saying it. And then you know what happened? I just saw at one point, he looked at me and I looked at his face. And you know when you know somebody's had enough? His face just said, I've had enough. And I looked and I just stopped. And then we actually ended up going outside to the cars. Like, we'd parked. Obviously, I didn't want this person knowing where I live. So we parked randomly. So
this is the ex-husband, I must add, everyone.
you know it. This is how it started. And we was talking, and I ended up sitting in the car and we talked for about 2 hours. And I thought, this guy's all right, actually. Because I thought, I'll be honest, I went there thinking this guy's going to be stupid.
You judged him.
I had a perception that he's only going to talk about stupidness, and I actually got surprised. And I thought, he's actually quite intelligent. And that got my interest because he was intelligent. I thought, he's quite nice. And he just seemed nice.
That's very
Don't
interesting.
laugh.
sorry.
From
It's true.
this isn't going anywhere
Yeah.
to ding dong wedding bells.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
So that's really, really
How
interesting.
did I get there?
And that was 10 years, right?
Married, or 10 years together, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird because
There must have been something in that then.
There was
let's just
definitely
say,
something.
there was something special.
Yeah.
Special.
Of course.
I think the key thing is that you had that conversation, and I think the setting as well. You was having a drink in a bar or a
Yeah.
restaurant, but you've gone to the car now where there's no one around.
Yeah.
none of this sparkling stuff. It's just you two alone together in the car, just having
Talking.
conversation, and more or less,
Yeah.
more or less, kind of like getting to know each other.
Yes.
Do you know what I liked as well? It's true, because I think I never met someone who'd been so open with me. Like, I just met him properly talking.
Yeah.
And he goes, right, I'm going to tell you everything about me so no one else can. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
I've never met a man that starts telling
So
you
open
things.
and honest.
When I say telling me things about how he cheated on other people, like, I'm sitting there thinking, just honest. And I like that. I like that. I thought, this guy's just being, he just was open.
Yeah.
And the relationship began open. And I'm telling you, we had this strange relationship that on the outside, we looked like we'd never work. But we were so tight. I can't explain it. Like, we were so close. Like, he told me everything and I was telling him. We were just so open.
Yeah.
We were very, very open.
So do you think that for a relationship to last, it's important that there's a friendship?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, 100.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Growing up, like, so for example, for myself, with my son's dad, we like really good friends. Even up to today,
Yeah.
It's good.
we are like really good friends. Like,
Yeah.
it's like we grew together,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously I had him quite young, but we grew together.
Yeah.
So that there was this level of friendship that we have.
Was that
Um,
from the beginning?
That's
you were
from the
always
beginning.
like that.
Yeah.
I met him
Good.
at college.
It's nice.
So I kind of met him at college. I was like, you know, I'm focused. I'm here to learn. You know, you're not going there for man.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. He was persistent.
And you gave in.
I gave in.
Ah.
I gave in.
Why did you give in?
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued because people are listening.
It's
and
true.
Many people have been caught in the same situation.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I saw him every day anyway. He wasn't like the crew that I hanged out with or anything like that. Just like, it was to do with the fact that he was really persistent, and the fact that he just kept on and on and on and on. And one time he just caught me in the stairwell and he was like, so look, I really like you and I'd like to go out on a date, whatever. And I was thinking,
Did you fancy the man? Did you like him?
no,
You didn't like him.
So you too.
it wasn't that. I
No.
wasn't in that place to do that.
Right,
Like,
so you
my
weren't
focus
focused
wasn't that.
on
I was focused on my
education,
education
yeah.
and my
That's it.
studying and my learning.
Yeah, totally
So
get it.
I wasn't looking like, I didn't go there.
that wasn't your intention.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't basically my intention. So when he was that persistent, I was like, no. Even
Do
to
him
the
a
point,
favour.
no, like I was due to hand him my assignment, and he stood there. I literally had like half an hour to go, and I'm touch typing till I can't touch type no more. And he was there in my ear going, so like, are you going to go on a date with me? Then his friends came and he's like, look, this girl don't want to go on a date with me. And I don't know whether it was embarrassment on top of the fact that I was like, you know what, let's just go out on a date with this guy. And he turned out to be really nice. I was attracted to him, not because of what he looked like, but because he was mature.
Right.
And I liked the maturity.
Yeah.
So that was one of the aspects that I liked in a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
So-
that I knew it because I was young, so I'm just learning
Yeah.
about relationships now.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, it was like my first relationship, like proper relationship with somebody that had lots of depth and, you know, rocky bits on the way. We were kind of young, so we were learning.
You're learning about each other and about each other's, about yourselves.
Right, exactly. And then I got pregnant, and then that was another dynamics in the mix. And he was actually very quite supportive. He was like if you know, he didn't say don't have this baby or anything like that. Like, he was supportive from the beginning.
Oh, that's good. It's true.
So, upon reflection of what you've just explained, you were at school, college, you weren't attracted to a man, this particular gentleman.
No, I just weren't. That just wasn't my focus. Man,
Your
wasn't my
focus was on
Yeah.
your books.
Yeah.
You became, because of persistence, it branched out into a relationship.
Yeah.
You later had your son.
Yeah. We're still friends up until today.
And-
So the, you know, friendship is key within a relationship
Yeah.
for it to kind of
Yeah.
grow.
Yes.
It's the only way it works.
There needs to be some kind of friendship.
So at what point did you sit down and think, how did I get here? Because you've gone from not interested in somebody to I'm going to have a child. I know it didn't just happen like that, but I'm just like, the dynamics are you were here, not interested, and now you're about to have a baby for this gentleman.
He was very loving. He was very caring. You wouldn't want for anything.
Really?
Like,
okay.
And then I got to learn the other sides.
But you're not dissimilar to me, really.
No.
The start is the same. You're not attracted.
I think
Are we being worn
everyone's
down?
beginning is the same.
Yeah.
But as you become more self-aware, and as you start to understand that individual you're with, and you identify compatibilities and some that you're not compatible with, you start to see flaws.
Yeah.
And that's with any relationship.
Yeah.
No one connects 100%.
No.
If
definitely
anybody says that they connect 100%, I would love to meet them. I would love to meet them for the simple reason, in my world, that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
No one gels 100%. No one connects with anybody 100%. There are aspects where you wouldn't connect with an individual. But to say your partner of 10 years, your partner, to say you know that individual completely,
No, you never do.
you would be lying to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
I was
That's
tricked.
where I was talking about denial.
I was tricked for 2 years, actually, because for the first 2 years of meeting Mr. who seemed so loving and affectionate, and, it was as soon as we started planning that wedding, I saw this monster come out. I was like, huh? We never argued for 2 years. We didn't have anything to argue about. It was so nice. So, I'm thinking, this is a nice, mature relationship. No one's sulking. We're not arguing. We started planning that wedding. I was like, that's when the red flag started. I was like, what was that? And then lies. The lies, I caught him on a lie. And I was like, I knew I shouldn't have gone any further once I caught him on that first lie. Because he turned out lying all through.
Really interesting. You just said that when you were planning your wedding, that's when you saw the demon in that person come out. And I do apologise for using the word demon. Okay, you saw the negative side, a different side, the bad side of that individual.
No, it wasn't the full bad side, but it was an argumentative side that I'd never seen.
So, what do you think caused that?
Well, I just thought, obviously not being married before and hearing people say, when you get married, there's a lot of pressure, and you do argue, because I wanted all these things. It was going to be the once in a lifetime wedding. So I wanted all the things you want as a woman,
Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Crier. I was looking for a black town crier. I wanted it different. So I wanted all the little extras. And I think he was worried about the money, which I didn't realise, So I'm there planning. He's thinking money. So everything I suggested, he was shutting me down.
Yeah.
So for me, from what I'm hearing you say, the commitment was semi there.
For who? Faith?
No, I think the commitment was there.
No, but why I say that is he became argumentative when the wedding issues came up.
Yeah.
Then also the financial side.
The finances were big.
That scared him.
Yeah, so that's what I think that created that pressure, and why he, instead of him talking to you and saying, actually, we're not going to be able to afford this, the argument arose, and that's what kind of...
So it boils down to communication then.
Communication again.
Communication started going.
How you communicate with people.
Yeah. So that commitment was a scare factor, and the lack of communication.
It wasn't the commitment, because I didn't actually... The marriage thing, I didn't want it. It was him. He was... Because I remember when it got to 1 year, I was like... We went on holiday, I thought he was going to propose. And I'm telling you, I was having a meltdown on that holiday. Because I was like, don't... In my mind, I was like, don't ask me. And then when he didn't, I had a conversation with him. I said, you know what? I really thought you were going to propose, and I was stressing myself.
So, okay.
I wasn't ready.
I
wasn't ready.
And I didn't want to say yes.
And that's the only reason.
I just wasn't ready.
You just wasn't ready.
No, I really wasn't. There was nothing bad happening.
And even when you quantified and managed to analyse him as an individual, you still didn't want it.
Not at the year. No, it was too quick.
Okay.
So how long into that was it when he did
proposed.
Yeah.
2 years, but I think again because when I started dating him, because I'd been with my daughter's dad for 15 years, and it was one of the things I hated because we lived together for 11.
Yeah.
We've lived together for 11 years, and I didn't want to live with somebody. I wanted to be married. I just didn't want that whole. I didn't feel I was being respected as a woman. So when I met my ex-husband, I said, I'll date you I'm dating 2 years maximum. If you haven't proposed, whoever
So
I
you gave
date,
the ultimatum.
yeah, whoever it was, I said 2 years. If it's not, if we don't know what we're doing by 2 years, you're gone. That's it.
So you, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you didn't want to get married.
No, I did. I always wanted to.
You always wanted to get
I
married.
didn't want to be this baby mother or living with.
Oh, right, you didn't want to have that kind
tag.
of
Yeah, I
tag.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
think all of us women, I just feel we accept it, and I don't think we should as black women.
So in between that 2 years of I'm assuming you guys communicated a lot.
A lot.
So you was very on point on what you wanted,
Very
and
militant.
and was it the same for him as well?
I think I scared him. I'll be honest. I think I intimidated him a lot. Yeah, in the relationship.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I've got a very strong personality, and if as a man you're not going to be, if you don't sort of step up as a man, I'm going to take over. And what he did was it kind of allowed me to. I was decision making on everything, and I didn't want that, but he wouldn't take control.
He wouldn't take right.
So you see today when you hear a lot of black guys say, "Oh no, I'm not going to go out with a black woman because whatever the case may be."
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of the fact that they find us to be too strong, so they don't have any worth, or not that they don't have any worth, but what are they needed for then?
I don't agree with that.
For me-
No, I'm not.
Go on,
yeah.
go on.
For me, if a man feels that way, that says a lot about him as an
Yeah,
individual.
he's weak. Sorry.
He's
Yeah.
weak.
No,
He's
yeah,
weak.
but that's
And
what I'm
for-
saying.
All right. So
Like,
you say the man is weak, but we don't know the man's past.
Yeah, I was
So
going to continue.
there's gonna be no. So go.
Yeah,
ahead
yeah.
then.
So yeah, how I would see it is that person is weak for me.
Yeah,
Not
for
right
you.
For
For
me,
you.
for me,
Yeah,
it's not
it's
right
true.
for me because I want a man to be a man. I want a man
What is
to
a man?
not. Well, for me personally, obviously, I see my man should be my equal.
Yeah.
My man, my
But some men don't see that.
right,
Right.
That's why I'm saying that my man.
Yeah, but
So-
you don't know that until you get into that relationship or have that
but I
conversation.
think, like I'm saying, like we were talking about, friendship is key for me. It's important that you find friendship in that individual before you enter into a relationship. There is no point meeting someone in a rave. Sorry to quote that, but in a rave, because that's the most. A lot of people meet at parties.
Yeah, socialising.
And they go away, and the next thing they're in a relationship.
Fall into it.
I can't. I need to know that person to a degree to be able to know certain things
Yep.
about them. Obviously, I'm not going to know everything, but enough for me to be able to step forward and say, yes, I can enter into a relationship with this individual. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to be... Don't be blindsided, but just because you know so much about a person that you're not going to find out new stuff.
I was going to say, yeah, because there's
Most
some things that
definitely.
you don't know.
Yeah,
And people change along the way as
Of
well.
course
We
they
all
do.
do. We all
Yes.
do.
But
We
yeah.
all do. But another thing with a little tip I learned it probably a couple of years ago. I heard a young woman in a church event say it, and I thought, wow. She said, because I was thinking, what's this girl going to be able to tell me about marriage? I was like, she's 27. She said, don't spend more time planning the wedding than you do the marriage. And that's where it went wrong. We didn't actually plan the marriage. We planned the day.
So now my question is friendships and relationships. Now, a lot of us have different thought processes about friendships and
It
relationships.
gets interesting.
And when I say friendships, relationships, you'll understand where I'm coming from. You're in a relationship and you have friendships. It could be male, it could be female. How do you feel about your partner or your partners interacting with friends of yours? I'm going there because
Wow.
All of us have been in relationships. All of us have friendships. All of us have experienced and seen signs of friendships encroaching into our relationships.
I've not had
But
that.
you got to set your boundaries. You know, like, there has to be some kind of boundaries there. Your friends need to know you don't cross over this
don't.
line.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I mean, if we're friends
Yes.
and we're supposed
Yeah,
to
they respect.
have such a great friendship, there has to be some kind of, level of respect, you know. No, yeah,
you just don't go there.
you just don't go. I was just about to
There's,
say that.
there's
man.
girl
You
code.
just-
I
you
think
just-
there's girl code.
and there's
isn't
man
there?
code.
And
But-
there's man code.
but-
Yes. But the man code slips, man.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't
no.
it? I think more so than the women, but it can happen because I think in my relationships, because my first partner, I can't let him go because we were together 15 years, and I found out when my daughter was 1 year old that he'd been with somebody for 10 years in my relationship, and he had another baby that was 7 months old. Yeah, so I was like, huh? My daughter's 1 and another child 7 months, and his family knew. It was, bad.
No, was this before you married him?
I didn't marry him. This is my daughter's dad.
This is the,
Okay.
the
So that's
first
my
partner.
first relationship.
Yeah,
But I'll be
okay.
honest with you, I'm telling you, I remember the day I found out. What I did, I phoned everybody and I made sure it spread round. And then I just felt relieved because, again, I was in a relationship that I couldn't get out of. I wasn't happy for about 5 years. I just didn't know how to end it. So that was my first
Why couldn't you get out of it?
comfortable, I think. And it was that everybody looked at us like this perfect couple. And then I was so unhappy. I was unhappy. We had good times as well, travelled a lot. It looked good, but I just didn't feel love. And I wanted this love that I never got. And I wanted it. I was chasing it.
So I'm going back to friendship
back,
now.
yep.
We need to touch on this.
We do.
And the reason why is there's protocol. And this is my personal opinion. We talked about lines, crossing lines.
Yeah, crossing lines.
Mine is protocol. If you want to speak
Yeah.
to my partner, you go through me.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like phone calls or something like that?
There should be none of that.
So, but if you're in a group, they can talk to your partner, no problem.
That's not a problem, but
No
obviously...
phoning, you don't know.
No.
that's not right.
That's not an option.
Yeah.
So is that for both male and female?
Well, I can only talk for myself.
No, so that's what I'm
It's a
asking. Is it for
respect
both
thing though,
male and
isn't it?
female?
I think yes, because I tell you why. It's about respect. If a person is able to contact me, my partner should know
Yeah.
about that person.
Nothing to
Right,
hide.
that is key.
Right.
And if a woman is contacting my partner for whatever reason, I need to know what that's all
And the
about.
same for a man as well.
And it's, of course, 100%.
No, because sometimes that can only be one-sided to...
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's about communication. If you have a friend who is a friend, there is not a problem with that person contacting you. But if it becomes a problem for your partner, then it's a conversation that needs to be had between you and your
definitely.
partner.
Oh, yeah.
Because
100%.
remember, friendships are for life.
Yeah.
Partners are for a time. And I say that, and I'm
Friendship should be for life.
not.
Yeah.
When people enter into friendships, they usually have a friend for life. But yes, they
There's
do.
no
They do go.
contract.
So yeah, but with regards to relationships, you either grow together, or you grow apart.
Yeah.
And because it's just two individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With friendships
Yeah,
now, it's
I
like
see
you
what
may
you mean.
see a friend an occasion, but that's a friend for life.
Yeah.
Even though I see you tomorrow, doesn't mean that our friendship is any less.
No.
It just means that you're getting on your life, I'm getting on with my life, but we'll meet, and it's like there's never been
Lost
any time,
touch,
lost
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So with friendships, there's protocol and there's boundaries and respect.
There's don'ts, isn't there? Well, I'm going to explain that. Now you've just touched on friendships, protocols and boundaries. I've got to tell you how my fairy tale ended, because we had, it was, although I was close, we had a good relationship where I'm telling you, if you saw us together, everybody that was in our company was quite surprised because we were close. We used to walk holding hands. It was quite a loving relationship. But the last couple of years went downhill, which was fine. That happened. I was still trying to hold on.
Why? Why could
I couldn't get to the bottom of it. I got sick, actually. That was it. I got ill. I got diagnosed with a brain disease, actually, that was actually brought on by the stress he put me under.
Right.
Yeah, the year before. So 2014, I got diagnosed, and I just saw this man change. Like, I think I was like the perfect little dolly for him on his arm. And as soon as I had a default, he weren't interested. And it was a shock to me, because I was like, how can you love me? You always tell me you love me, and then when I need you, you're gone. And it was like he was gone.
Was that ever confirmed?
Oh no, denied it. But you don't need someone to tell you. You can see it's actions. You don't need them to tell you. So the last 2 years was an awful, non-stop arguing. I'm telling you, all sorts was going on. It was a war zone in my house. My daughter was doing her GCSEs. I don't know how she got through those exams and still got A stars, because we were shouting and arguing all the time. Never physical, because I've never let a man put their hand on me. In fact, I think I scare them, because I always say, if you touch me, you're going to have to sleep in this house with one eye open. No one's ever put their hand on me. It's never going to happen. I would never accept it.
Yeah.
Same here.
No, you don't have it. And I think as women, we've got to set them standards. You've got to frighten them a little bit, these men. But going on now, because I don't want to run out of time. Now, my fairy tale, what happened was the relationship started going downhill. So we went abroad on holiday. We was in St. Lucia, and I never forget, I went, wait there, how did that go? I went with 2 other friends, actually. One was my friend, who I'd known for like 10 years. 10 years. So I'd met her on the train. She was a friend, like we more were, now I think about the category of a friend, we raved together all the time. She was a good time friend, because it was good times, all good times, nothing really deep. We like dinners and stuff. There was a group of us, yeah? About 5 women in the end. And she brought an associate. I didn't know the other lady really. I'd met her a couple of times. We went on this holiday for 2 weeks, yeah? And we got on well. I was worried about the extra person, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And we got on well for 2 weeks on holiday in St. Lucia, yeah? Came back. The next year, I didn't want to go with them, because I'll be honest with you, we talk about friendships. The girl that was my friend was acting odd on that holiday. Like, put it this way, we were at a dinner. We were invited to the chef's table in this hotel. So we're sitting up on the chef's table where they're cooking and giving us. She was doing things like, the three of us are sitting at a table and they're having a side conversation and giggling, and I'm left out. Do you understand? Like, that making you feel, and I'm like, what is this girl about? Because I thought, because I'd started to see before signs I did not like with her behaviour towards other people. Okay. But she was perfect to me.
Okay.
Yeah? But to me, you can't treat somebody bad and be nice to me. You have to address that. So I started backing off from her, I'll be honest. I started backing off, but it was a car crash in the end, the whole lot. It was bad.
Yeah.
So, the next year I didn't go, and then it looks like what happened was the acquaintance she brought along, she was never my friend. We got on the holiday. I can go on holiday with anybody, yeah, because I'm that sort of person. I'm fun, so I don't care as long as you're not miserable on my holiday and spoiling it. I'll get on with you.
Okay, yeah.
So never my friend, yeah. So, but as you say, there's lines. Well, what did I find out when they went to St. Lucia? I didn't go that year because I didn't want to. I was actually in Barbados. I could have gone. I went to Barbados.
Yeah.
This acquaintance decides that she's going to start sleeping with my ex-husband. Actually, he was still married to me, but we'd separated. He'd left 6 months. He'd left in the January, and they all went to St. Lucia in May, and obviously decided, I don't know if it happened there. I don't think it happened there. I think when they got back, decided to do some sneaky stuff, and this girl had the audacity, yeah? She'd been to my house, eat my food, been to my house, sit in my garden. And then when I found out, I did the same thing I did years before. I phoned everyone and I said, listen, I'm hearing that this is going on. People were like, what? Remember, I'm still married to this man,
Oh, wow.
This girl had started to have a relationship. I phoned her up and I tricked her. I phoned her up, being nice on the phone. And I asked her point blank. And because she wasn't expecting it, she started choking. I said, I got my answer then. She choked on the phone. You couldn't hide. Now, this girl said she was a Christian. And, she gave, to be honest with you, people who go to church call themselves Christian. That's not being a Christian. And that behaviour, I mean, I can't tell you. It was a shock.
So based on your experience, now it wasn't a friend, it was an acquaintance of a friend.
She was an acquaintance.
So-
but the friend,
How did that actually make you feel?
I was fuming. I'll be honest with you. I just, you know what it was? It was like her, I just kind of dismissed her. Once I said what I needed to say on the first phone call, she had no importance to me, because to me it could have been anybody. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be so free and come to somebody's house, obviously you must have thought I had something you wanted, yeah? But you mustn't watch what people got, because you don't know what life they're living. She didn't know I was getting hell in that house for 2 years, but she obviously thought she liked... I personally think she thought someone was going to marry her. She wanted the marriage thing, yeah? And she thought if she got him, maybe, you know, I don't know what she was thinking, because to me, you don't go over... I've never looked at a friend's man and been attracted.
So can I ask you a question? So you said you spoke to the lady in question that
Yeah.
was involved in this, yeah? Did you not speak to the man? Because they
Oh my
both take
God.
responsibility.
I was going to ask the same question.
Because
What do you
called-
expect?
You've
Course.
called everybody to tell everybody, but I feel like
Your
was your
relationship-
first
I missed
point
that
of
bit.
call
What do you
talking
reckon
to the
would be?
man?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
listen, let me tell you what happened. I phoned about 20, 30 times, would not answer the phone to me, yeah? I couldn't, to this day, we've never had a conversation about it, because
Oh, wow.
he wouldn't answer the phone. And then what I did, I was trying to get him in any way I could. So I was phoning everywhere I could. He wouldn't have a conversation.
So
Yeah? He denied it.
So today,
4 years later, yeah.
have you
Never.
had closure?
Closure in that I think I'm in a completely different space. Closure in that I understand the whole what happened to me and my choices. It was a bad choice of relationship, and the women friends I called friends at that time, I'm telling you, if the stuff, you know what they did? It was like I was replaced. As soon as it came out and when everybody knew about it, it was like put it this way, like I was a picture and they took my picture away
And replaced
and
it.
replaced my face. And this person was slotted in to my life, kind of thing, if you know what I mean.
But for me, that says a lot about the people
Oh
that
my
you were
gosh, yeah.
associated with.
They weren't
I mean,
friends. They
yeah.
were disgraceful.
Obviously, your ex-partner, ex-husband, so to speak, he obviously didn't value as you as an individual.
No.
That's very apparent based on what you're relaying to us today. With regards to your friendships, they don't seem like they were friendships. They sound
yeah.
like acquaintances.
Yeah.
But there were 10 years, I couldn't believe that you could be around someone. And I started to kick myself. I thought, this has happened to me twice now. I've had 2 friendships with women for like 10 years. And the women like do things that you think, hold on.
So when you think about the whole scenario, you're talking about 2 relationships, you're talking about 2 breakdowns of relationship. Do you feel going forward, do you need to set more boundaries? Because
For yourself.
it's sounding like boundaries. Like there are certain protocol that wasn't in place. There's certain things that they felt were okay to do that they weren't okay to do.
Yeah. So you see, like when Miss Mode said that her mum taught her not to open up too much, and that, you know, in a sense, they say it guard your heart.
Yeah, make ourselves
You know,
vulnerable.
You made yourself, in that sense, it seems like you were vulnerable and
Yeah.
no fault of your own, because that's the person that you are.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
you're a good person.
I think it's what I was attracted to. I was attracted to very shallow things. The personalities. People, I've got a personality that people hook onto me. Like, I think people say you've got energy. So people will latch on and want to be my friend.
Yeah, it can be
And
draining.
I wasn't, you know.
You wasn't
I just
assessing those
accepted
people,
everybody.
yeah.
Oh, she's nice.
yeah.
She's nice. And then, you know, and they didn't show me badness. They didn't show me badness. So,
yeah.
you know, but it was kind of surface. I realised, you know what I realised? For the 10 years, I didn't grow. I didn't move forward as a person in 10 years. And the difference now is, you know, I'm making my choices, yeah? So I don't need to rush in. I was married, so I'm not so keen on just rushing and dating. Because
Yeah.
I'd rather wait and get a nice quality man.
So it's been a learning curve for you.
Oh my word. I've
as
learned
much
a lot.
as much as it's been devastating and detrimental to you as a person, you've moved forward.
You know what? I wouldn't even say devastating. With my ex-partner, when I heard, it didn't actually shock me. I was like, the first thing I said was, that doesn't surprise me. Because his character, it didn't surprise me. And plus, he'd told me he'd done that sort of stuff before.
So you were expecting it then?
Yeah,
at some point.
By the end, yeah, I was. But what disappointed me was the behaviour of the women. I thought, how could you let something like this happen and call me and say I'm your friend? And then
be part of it.
But they were all happily part of it. And I'm not joking. I didn't get one phone call from any of the women for 10 years I was friends with. Not one person phoned and said, nothing. Nothing.
It's interesting. I mean, like,
I'm lost for words.
I am too.
I just can't believe. Not that I don't believe that there's people out there like that.
Yes.
But I just can't believe that it was so easy to replace you in that scenario. They just replaced you. So it's kind of obvious that they might have had issues beforehand. But if they're true friends, if there's things that you don't like about your friend, or there's something that your friend's going to do, and you're saying, you know what, actually, do you know what, friend? That's actually not right.
Yeah.
That's true friendship. Like, if your friend could turn around and say to you, oh, you know what, you're not moving right, like...
It's about honesty, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you have a friendship, you value a friendship, that's why you choose to have that friend in your life. When you have friends who aren't true, it makes you re-evaluate friendship. And like you said, you don't want to have people around you.
No way.
Because you feel that you could be betrayed again.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think I've learned, and I would definitely, I'm in a different space. I've learned more in the last 3 years than I've learned in the last 20, I think. And you couldn't get anywhere near me now.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, like, we've talked about friendship, we've talked about relationships. Friendship is so key.
It's so key.
It's so key. Choose wisely, and the same with partners. I mean, you have to be careful how you go about entering into relationships, so to speak, because how we look at things and how we analyze things sometimes can go against the grain. It's not always straightforward and as clear as it may look. And it does depend on what eyes you're looking through. If you're looking through love eyes, they're going to be very blurred. But they're going to look so amazing.
Yeah, look at the proper qualities in people.
When you look through lust eyes, you're going to see a different picture as well.
Lust eyes is true.
Yeah, you need to look through eyes that are not attracted to something. You need to use those eyes to really assess people properly. Because the reason why we probably do have or fall into certain situations is because we're looking for the wrong things in people. We're attracted to the wrong things.
It's true.
We're expecting people to fill voids that we have within ourselves. So you attract yourself to things that are different from what you are, but different doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be compatible. Different doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be compatible. So it's about you analysing before you actually put your foot in or step into a relationship. A lot of people are in relationships. They're wondering why things don't go that well, why there are arguments, why they, everything they try to do, they fail. That's the point, and that's the time when you have to step back and analyse yourself individually, both you and your partner, and see why these things are happening. Why, when you try to do something, it doesn't go the way you plan. You need to communicate. You need to be open and honest with each other. It's key.
It is.
It's really important that we do these things and understand that we're just two individuals trying to make a bond and become a unified item, become one, so to speak.
As you said, communication is key with everything.
Yes.
So being in a relationship, you need to talk more. Don't just, when your partner asks you, how you doing? Fine. No. Tell them what is actually wrong,
Yes.
because that's how you get to talk to one another and maybe not resolve that particular time,
Yes.
but by having more conversations with one another,
yes.
you get to understand, well, he or she don't like this
Yeah.
or that.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of relationships can be saved
Yes.
Yeah.
or
If you talk,
worked on more better
Yes.
if you talk.
if you talk,
Yeah.
it's
Like
key.
communication
Stop
is
saying
key.
you're fine. Stop saying you don't want to
True.
talk about it. Don't start have an attitude around the house and just spoil up the whole vibe of the home.
Yes.
Talk.
Yes.
It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yes.
Once you get it out,
Yeah,
you
can
will
be-
feel
Yeah,
a bit more better in yourself,
true.
and your partner can understand where you're coming from.
Today's topic has been relationships. It's been an interesting one, but I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for listening. Good night and God bless.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 Never twist up coming in as I now feel it, fear and unraveling. Beneath the fold of habit and distrust that all leads to our reckoning. Still softly spoken in acceptance of begging. Any excuse in the name of love, you taught me well. My heart bleeds as you hesitate on words and choke. I feel it all, eat your mind together at my feet. Entangled, no one soon to slip and wait. Truth the past dragged upon me, sinks into chest. No need to analyze it, cross-check. Need the weight of understanding, I know it all to be false. Not even truth, the mist is lost. But what if we spoke honestly? How might you and I have been? Please never twist up tongue again. I now feel it, fear and unraveling. You feel so out of reach now. You're listening. Too hard to connect in this honest whispering.
You're listening to iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.